Hello boyos, Rich Boy J here back with another video, and this is going to be another episode of building Kamino in Lego. First things first with this update, we didn't have a live stream between the last update and this update, so I don't have any specific shout outs, but I did want to say that if you guys aren't tuning into live streams, definitely urge you to do so. It's a great way to not only see the build early, but also to hang out, talk Star Wars. We have such a fantastic time doing that. Then also, of course, the donations that you guys give are always very much appreciated. And I did have one thing I did also want to bring up. If you did want to support the build but didn't see yourself tuning into a live stream, so if you're not able to make a live stream for whatever reason, you actually can use this button right here to contribute to the channel, to the build. Those contributions go such a long way in making Kamino possible, and I very much appreciate them. Now, as for the update this week, as the title suggests, we finally completed the paneling on the top of the dome. At least for the section that we've been working on. There is still very much more that we're gonna have to attach to the top of the dome, but we're not gonna worry about that right now. The paneling is done. I think it looks awesome, and I can't wait to show it to you guys. So let's go ahead and start the video. Man, I swear to you guys, I was going so ham trying to get these last few panel sections built up. I feel like up until this point, it hasn't really bothered me having to build so many of these. There's so many unique details on each one. There's usually something kind of fun and enjoyable to find about every individual panel, that it doesn't get monotonous. But I was really feeling some type of way when it came to these last few sections. I don't know if it's just because I was so close to the end that I was ready to be done, or if it's just, you know, I built so many of these up until this point, my body was just like, yo, like, I want to be doing something else. But I pushed through it, I persevered, and we did finally get them finished up, which was such a relief for me because I've been doing this for so long. It feels like the past, few months of Kamino, from me coming back to YouTube, has just been me building these. So I was very happy to finally push through these last few panels, at least for this dome. All right, guys, we got a hashtag milestone moment when it comes to Kamino. These are the final remaining 6 panels that I have to add to the top of the dome that we're currently working on. At least for this section. There's still going to be a big cone section on top that's going to require some work. But anyways, still big milestone, super happy. I feel like I've built so many of these, not just because like there's a lot of them on the dome, but also because I feel like I've done this so many times. Like when I was initially prototyping, that was one design that I kind of had, before Kamino got destroyed. And then when I took it to Brick World last year, I basically had to make a bunch of plain versions of these just to have something that would cover it, but didn't really have any time to incorporate details. So had to build a lot then. And then now, recently, I've had to build twice as many as I did for the last Brick World because we basically doubled the size of that quarter dome and then made it a half dome. And I built a lot of these, just to say the least. I built a lot of them. And that's still not even it. I still have, twice as many to go for the other Kamino dome that we're going to be working on. But that is a problem for future Jay. I will leave that for future Jay to worry about. But today Jay is super happy because we have these done. I do have to admit, I feel like I got a little less inventive when it comes to these last few panels. I was honestly just super hyped to get this over with. But I do think I came up with a few interesting looking ones. This one in particular, I think is really cool. And this is not a new design. It's actually just a mirror of this existing design that I had on the other side of the dome. And it actually is accurate. They repeat this kind of pattern, but they flip it elsewhere on the dome. So I decided to go ahead and incorporate that into my dome as well. We got this one here, which is also pretty cool. I kind of like how I threw in those 31x1 plates with the bars. I don't know, just made for an interesting looking design. And I popped like the bottom of the lever piece in there. Looks kind of cool. And of course we got a bunch of very light bluish gray in there. I do not like the fact that this piece is here in black. It does exist in light bluish gray, but I think it just recently came out in that new mini Hogwarts set. So I don't think there's any on Bricklink right now. So might be a little while before I can get my hands on that and actually replace that color. But, it is what it is. We ball. I got these 2 sections right here. I like that I was able to incorporate a couple of olive green lines in them. I think that's actually pretty nice. And, just for the rest of these, really, on the actual reference material, the detailing got, I guess, considerably less detailed. as we moved along to these sections, over to the right side of the dome, which actually isn't the worst thing in the world. I don't think I want for every single panel to have insane amounts of detail. I think it is actually a good balance to have some panels that are relatively simple. So it's not something that's going to upset or keep me up at night. But yeah, so now that we have these, we're going to go ahead and install them on the dome, and we will finally see what the completed top panel section looks like on Kamino. I am so excited. Hey yo, fresh cut. Kamino Dome is looking absolutely gorgeous. You can see we finally got these panels over here installed on the top, and I am just in love with this. The spacing is still an issue. Some people might mention that. There are some unsightly gaps that will need to be fixed, and that just has to do with the structure. I'm probably just going to remove all the panels and then just go one by one and assemble like the structures and space them out evenly, and then that should resolve that issue. But once again, that's an issue for future Jay. Present Jay is very much enjoying the fact that we have a completed, not really completed, but a completed-ish dome here. Still do need to get those railings built up. That's still a long ways away, just waiting for an order of parts that will basically replace all of those. So unfortunately, we're just not going to see it like really, really complete looking for a little bit. But I think just seeing the top here and having the dome go all the way around, just the general shape, that's really the biggest thing. Like the details, those are things that are pretty easy to work out. We can add more detail if necessary. But if the general shape of this thing does not work out, it's pretty much colossal failure. So the fact that I can finally see that the shape that I thought would work is actually working. It looks considerably rounded at the top, as a dome should. That is all I need as confirmation that this mock is going to work. I did also add the trim around the edges here, so you can see got these curved slopes going all the way around the sides here. And I love how these little indented sections are coming out. I think that is a really nice detail to the edge of this thing, and it's also accurate. So shout out to Lego for releasing basically the perfect piece for that pretty much right when I started working on this mock. Someone is definitely at the Lego headquarters looking out for your boy. So not really much else to say about this other than that I'm just thrilled. I'm so happy to see the top panels finally done, at least this section. Like I said, we got plenty more to do building up, which is honestly kind of crazy to think about. Like this is going to be a really, really tall mock, which, like, I knew it'd be tall, but now that I'm looking at it now, like, it's going to get close to that fan up there, which is kind of crazy. But that's just kind of how things typically turn out when I'm building for whatever reason. So many exciting things to look forward to. I think for the next update, I honestly might start working on these sections in here. I think I really just want to get as much of this exterior done as possible. Of course, we'll start probably looking at that top section. Probably more than anything, my first priority for the next update is going to be getting the spacing figured out for all of this. Basically, getting the structure exactly as it should be, and then beefing up that cross brace that I built that basically holds up the tops of all of these panel assemblies. And then I want to look into the greebling sections in here. I know that's going to take a super long time, but I at least need to figure out how I want to connect them. And it'll basically be more or less like a modular design where I'll just kind of pop a bunch of them in there. Basically kind of like I've done these bigger panels, but it'll just be that on a smaller scale and with hella greebling. And then I want to definitely look at the interior. I've spent so much time working on the outside of this build. I think it's definitely going to be a breath of fresh air, not only for myself, but also for you guys who have been watching this series, to finally see me make it to the inside of Kamino and get some of those familiar interior elements built up. So these next few updates are going to be must-see. Got a lot of really cool stuff planned for this build. But I think that's pretty much it for this. I think I'll get one more pulled back view because I think that the pulled back views are actually really cool. And then we'll go ahead and go to the outro of the video. And there it is, your pulled back view of Kamino. This is so freaking cool. This is so cool. Cannot wait to load this thing up with minifigs, load this thing up with some ships and just an overall battle, and have it really looking immersive. Man, this is just so cool. And that's going to be it for Kamino this week. I hope you guys enjoyed looking at the mock and everything that has gone into it so far. As always, in the comment section below, let me know what you're thinking of the build so far. In terms of moving forward, like I mentioned, definitely going to be looking towards working on the interior. I want to make it my mission for the next update. There will be some sort of work done on the interior because I really do want to get that started. I want to switch things up a little bit for this series. We've been working on the outside so much. I think it's about time we finally get to the inside of the build. That's not to say that work won't be done on the outside. There's still very much a lot to be done there. But I definitely want to at least start prototyping, get something done for the inside so we can really start pushing this build along, because design-wise, a lot of the things have been figured out. I do still have that really complicated cone section at the top to work on. But everything else, for the most part, is pretty locked in. So really happy where we are at this build, and I can't wait to see this vision that I have for this build actually come to life. So that's gonna finish things up. If you guys like what I do, go ahead and support the video by hitting the like button, support the channel by smashing that subscribe button, and I'll be back again very soon.